Hi, I'm Todd Ortscheid, CEO of GTL Real Estate. Recently, I watched a video podcast that was done by James Wise of the Holton Wise Real Estate Group up in Cleveland, Ohio. James and his company do some great work in property management in Northern Ohio. If I owned property in Cleveland, he would be the first one I'd go to manage it. He also had a great guest on his podcast named Brad Larson. Brad owns RentWorks Property Management out in San Antonio, Texas. I think just as highly of Brad and his company as I do of Holton Wise in Ohio. These guys know property management, and we run our company here at GTL very similarly to how they run theirs. In this podcast, they were talking about an article that Brad had written talking about Class Landlords. Now that is a topic that a lot of property management companies will steer clear of because they don't want to risk offending any landlords. But I think it's absolutely imperative that we talk openly about this, as far too many landlords are making some huge mistakes in how they deal with their property management company, their rental property, and their tenants. And frankly, it costs them a lot of extra money, even though they think they're saving money. I highly recommend searching YouTube for that whole podcast that they did, but I'm going to hit on some of the highlights of that discussion as I see them. First, the entire concept is that landlords can generally be classified into three grades: A class, B class, and C class. And it's just what you think it is, letter grades just like what you got in school. So what is an A class landlord? An A class landlord is someone who treats his rental property like a business, hires a top tier property manager that he trusts, and lets that property manager do their job without constant second guessing and interference. The A-class landlord knows that the experienced property manager knows how to manage rentals better than the individual landlord ever can, simply because we see it all. We manage many hundreds of properties over many years or even decades, and an individual landlord is simply never able to accumulate that much experience to be able to say that he's truly seen it all. The A-class landlord gets this, and he trusts his property manager to take care of it. In the end, this landlord gets the best return on his money from his rental property. This is the landlord that you want to be. It allows you to be a completely passive investor, not having to be involved in the daily management of your investment at all, while being comfortable that you've hired someone to take care of it who knows what they're doing. It means you'll probably pay a little bit more for property management than the bargain basement discounters are charging. But the A-class landlord knows intuitively that he gets what he pays for, and it's worth it. He also knows that by being completely passive and not worrying about the day-to-day management, that he has more time to focus on accumulating more investments to make him even more money. Now, what about B-class landlords? These landlords are generally pretty good, but they're making some mistakes that are costing them money. They're shopping around for a discount on their property manager to save a few bucks on their management fee or leasing fees, not thinking about how the service and experience they get is probably suffering as a result. They're hassling their property manager sometimes when repairs need to be done to the property. They're trying to get the property manager to make special exceptions for their property or tenant on occasion. All of these things are bad for the landlord in the long run. Shopping around to save that % or two on their management fee means they're going to get a less experienced and less capable property manager. You just can't get Mercedes quality for Chevy prices. Having a lower quality property manager costs you a lot of money in the long run. Your property will be vacant more, meaning you'll bring in less revenue. You won't get the rent increases that you could on renewals, losing more money. And that property manager won't keep the tenant as happy, which means more turnover, and so on. Next, hassling your property manager about repairs is one of the worst things you can do. Trust me, your property manager does not want to be getting repairs done on your property. Nothing is a bigger pain than coordinating repairs. If we could just never do another repair on a property again, we'd all be much happier. But here's the thing. Getting repairs done quickly and with quality is what keeps tenants around longer. And nothing costs you more money than tenant turnover. Getting those repairs done also preserves the value of your property. So you don't want to hassle your property manager on this. Let them get the repairs done and you'll save money in the long run. And as far as trying to get the property manager to make exceptions to their normal policies and procedures, this is just bad all around. Anytime a property manager has to make exceptions, mistakes are bound to happen. And that property manager does things a certain way for a reason, because their many years of experience managing many hundreds of properties has shown them that it's the best practice. So by asking them to deviate from that practice, you're asking them to do things in a suboptimal way. That's going to cost you money in the long run. But generally, a B-class landlord, despite these things, is a pretty decent client. They want to be a good landlord. They're just not familiar with everything that goes along with it and why the property manager does things the ways that they do. So they just need to be informed on that. A B-class landlord who hires a quality property manager who works to educate them usually ends up becoming an A-class landlord. So don't fret if you're watching this video and you think you're a B-class landlord. Just work towards becoming A-class so that you can maximize your investment returns. But that brings us to the C-class landlord. And honestly, it really should be called the F-class landlord, because this landlord is just failing in every possible way. This landlord is sometimes known as a slumlord. He doesn't want to get any repairs done at all, or he wants to try to do them himself or use his cousin Eddie, who has no experience, license, or insurance to do them. He wants to tell the property manager to charge above market rent. He constantly hassles the property manager about following standard policies and procedures, and wants the manager to do things his way all the time instead of the standardized way that the manager knows works best. He haggles the price of the management fee down to the point where he has to hire a bargain basement discount property manager to begin with. And even then, the inexperienced discounter is sometimes wondering whether it's worthwhile to deal with this client for the minuscule amount of money he's getting paid. And I'll leave it to your imagination whether that situation is going to lead to the best service or not. In short, the C-class landlord is shooting himself in the foot from the very moment he starts looking to hire a property manager. He's not looking for quality and experience. He's looking for cheap. And after he hires the cheap property manager who probably doesn't know what he's doing and provides a poor quality service, he constantly berates and micromanages that manager. The condition of his property is constantly deteriorating because he doesn't want to get repairs done. And he can't hold on to a tenant because of it. In short, he's losing money left and right while patting himself on the back for being so frugal. This guy can't see the forest for the trees. And it won't be long until that bargain basement discount property manager he hired realizes that it just isn't worth the hassles, and then the C-class landlord has to start the whole process over again, looking for the next cheap property manager who is desperate for his business. Don't be a C-class landlord. Experienced property managers who know what they're doing will flat out refuse to do business with you right up front if they can figure out that this is the kind of landlord that you are. And if they don't figure it out up front, they'll terminate your contract pretty quickly after they start working with you and figure it out. Because you see, quality property managers are not desperate for business. We don't need to discount our services because we're providing a quality product and we get new clients from referrals and other sources without having to compete just on price. We have established businesses with tried and true policies and procedures that we know work for both us and our clients. And yes, we aren't willing to listen to a slumlord yell at us just because we got an air conditioner repaired when it was broken and it was 95 degrees outside. So if you're doing these things, all you're doing is ensuring that you will never work with an experienced professional who can take good care of your investment and get you the best return on your money. Because experienced professionals just won't put up with this sort of stuff. Just don't be that guy. It will only harm you in the end. Now, am I telling you that you need to go out and hire the most expensive property manager and then blindly trust him? No, of course not. What you want to do is make sure that you're getting quality and experience for the price you're paying. The top tier property manager will be able to easily tell you what he's worth and why he's charging that higher fee. When you ask him why he's charging higher prices than some of his competitors, he should have good answers for you about how long they've been in business, the number of properties that they've managed, and the excellent processes and procedures that they have in place to lease and manage your property and get you the best return on your investment. Basically, they should be able to explain to you why they're better than their cheaper competitors. A quality property manager who charges 10% instead of 7% that his cheap competitor is charging will return you 10 times that amount of extra money by ensuring that your property gets rented more quickly to a better tenant who stays longer. Remember, the difference in a few percent on a management fee is usually around the same price as the cost of your monthly Netflix subscription. That quality property manager will make you more money than that just with the better rent increase he gets you on the lease renewal. And that's just the beginning of what he'll do for you to get a better return on your investment. The A-Class landlord understands this, while the C-Class landlord refuses to accept it and stubbornly loses money year after year. So, if you're an A-Class landlord or a B-Class landlord looking to become A-Class, we would love to do business with you. Please contact us to talk about managing your property to get you the best possible return on your investment. On the other hand, if you're that C-Class slumlord, please move on to our cheaper competitors who are desperate for new clients. We just aren't a good fit for you. As always, we can be reached with any questions you may have at support@gtlrealestate.com. Thanks.